is the Pete Souza Show, and we are at the bank, baby, taking it to the bank with the great Dan Ingham.
Well, okay, I'll take it.
Hey, come on, my
picks are not.
First National Bank of Central Texas. By the way, you obviously, I'm sure you didn't see it, but I did during the open yesterday. I thanked our sponsors, and I created this amazing line of events. I said you can watch the Pete Souza Show. Make sure you can. I just said as an aside, you go to Slovacek's, obviously, and then you can get a car at Socorro Family Ford. God forbid something happened to you on the road. You call Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers, and when they take care of you, you run to the bank with your money and you put it in First National Bank of Central Texas, where it will accrue worth.
A perfect little timeline right there. I like that. I love Slovacek's, by the way. That place is awesome.
Dude, and they already
did they ever bring any food for anything like that?
I haven't quite made it to the status where they'll bring me food, but I can go get some, Yeah. That's for like the Robert Wests of the world,
Nice, solid reference. Right there. Yes.
If you know Robert West, you know what I'm talking about.
I got some cookies. Yeah.
He's like, hey, come on down. I got your cookies right now.
Yep.
So, Dan, we're 0-4 on the year.
That's bad.
I just want to get it out of the way.
Bad.
It's not, look.
Like, you have to try to be this bad. It's wild.
Dan, I'll tell you something. I actually really do gamble, and I'm probably doing worse. So don't even worry about it.
What's funny is I'm in like a fake gambling league.
Yeah.
And I'm doing well in that. And
I did the never again. I mean, I don't bet like a ton of money or like a ton of games. But for me, like I'll bet like four games. And then you think I know what I'm talking about. Like maybe doing all this, like that's a great example too. Like you don't know. I've heard this, and it was one of my favorite lines in I think it was in Casino, and they talked about, these guys who really had success gambling, they knew like a quarterback had a drug problem. You know what I mean? They knew that a quarterback, his wife was having an affair.
There aren't the secrets like that now either.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a great point. Yeah. There's no more like, the only thing you can have now is like knowing a guy's injured right before it's released.
Right. And so before the line moves.
There was a big movement line that actually applies to this segment. So yesterday, Cincinnati is at Iowa State. You saw this. Cincinnati is favored by 1.5 against undefeated 14th ranked Iowa State, but Iowa State lost their 2 cornerbacks for the season.
There you go.
It was announced yesterday afternoon, and boom, the moment it's announced, flip.
They knew.
Yeah. They know.
But somebody knew and was able to make a bet before before the line moved. Yeah.
So tell me anything happening at the bank we need to know about? Anything like?
Yeah, obviously, so we're always looking for new customers, and every bank says, "Hey, we got great customer service," but I think we're pretty awesome at that. But again, we're in the cycle now. We give away the free gifts when you open up a checking account, and you get a pretty cool flashlight you open up to. It's a lantern with all kind of tools inside. So yeah, you get one of those with an account. A heck of a deal right there.
What's the biggest difference that as opposed to a bigger bank like a TD bank as it relates to a bank that is more, like you said, customer friendly, right? And like the people that at your bank.
That's it right there. And I'm going to tell you right now, Waco's pretty blessed. It has, I want to say, 7 or 8 locally owned banks, and that's really unusual. Most have been bought up or part of consolidation, and we still have that here. So customers are pretty lucky in this town. National Bank, obviously they do a lot of things right because they're that big, but a local bank, you're going to know your banker. They're not going to have a bunch of fees. They're not going to fee you to death. You're going to be able to meet with someone face to face, that kind of thing. That's the difference with a locally owned community bank for the most part over the national banks. That's obviously generalizing it, and from our perspective, that's what we bring to the table. Yeah.
What for you is the biggest story right now in college football?
That NIL and the transfer portal is actually increasing the number of teams that can win a national title. For several years, we'd look at it, maybe there were just 3 or 4. I think you could say right now 8 or 9 teams can win a national title. I really believe that. So I think you've got now, is it perfect? Heck no. I think all of us would agree with that. But there's a lot more teams that can look in the mirror and say, we got a chance to win a national title this year or make a run. Teams that think they can make a run is probably like 30, if I'm being honest with you. That's probably not true. But you can name 15 or 16 and think they can win a game or 2, and honestly, they could. So I think that's the biggest story right now is how college football has changed in that way.
As far as watching Baylor play this year, their deficiencies on defense have become glaring, and it's a surprise because Dave Aranda's at the helm, but then maybe it isn't when you look at, do they just lack personnel? Like for you, somebody who knows the sport, watches football, sports director for years. What have you seen from Baylor's defense? Is it I hate this term, but is it the Jimmies and Joes or is it the X's and O's?
I'm not smart enough in football to give you a good answer. I will just tell you someone I trust who was at the Oklahoma State Baylor game, who was a longtime college football coach, said he was very surprised at how simple Baylor's defense is. And I don't know, I believe him that's true. And he said, and he couldn't believe how easy it would be to scheme up against them. And now there must be a reason they're doing that, because Dave Aranda is a smart guy. Yeah. But maybe they just don't feel like they can implement everything that they need to. But he said it's very simple. And he said, like for OSU, he thought it was pretty easy for them to scheme up against. Obviously, the offense is good enough to win that game and beat a not very good OSU team. But still, they said it seemed very simple what they run right now.
And that goes back to your first point, the transient culture now of college football, where it's like, you have a system, but like, do you really? Because you're introducing new people to that system all the time. So it kind of handcuffs a brilliant defensive coach like Dave Aranda. Like maybe there's only so much you can do. I see Scotty over here.
And
on
maybe
the floor.
They get better as the season goes along too. But it is disappointing and surprising that the defense, the Baylor's defense so far. I think that's fair to say.
All right, so your picks have not been great.
They've been awful,
right?
But historically bad.
But here you are, which by the way, accountability is a special thing.
That's right. Yeah.
And it is a long season too, by the way, and that's why we're not.
I got to start putting some W's together, man.
Either way, I mean, this segment isn't going anywhere, so don't even think about it. Enough. We're going to move it to Thursdays because I taped that Inside the 12 thing at whatchamacallit at 9 o'clock in the morning. So it's always like a jailbreak for me on Wednesdays. But I got to get your pick for this week. I need to take it to the bank.
All right. So, do with this what you will, to go against it, whatever. But I like Arizona at home. It's a lot of points to give up, but given 20.5 to Oklahoma State, I think it was fool's gold Oklahoma State last week. I think they were fired up, played at home, played a defense that wasn't very good. Frankly, I think they now got to get on a plane, fly to Arizona. It's going to be hot as heck there. I think Arizona wins. I think Arizona wins pretty easily over Oklahoma State this weekend. So I think Arizona minus 20.5. That is a ton of points to give up. But
I actually really like that pick. I think there's a come down for Oklahoma State 100%. After last week. What did you think about as an Oklahoma State alum, and it was a Baylor game? So I'm pretty sure you. I love the graphics, Scotty. I'm pretty sure you watched the game.
I was there with my daughter and my sister. I was there. Yeah.
Oh, you were at the game.
I was there. Yes.
Whoa, dude, that's okay.
I'll say so. First of all, it was like the stadium was just about full. 50, 60, which was kind of cool to see that the fans are still out there. And then just two bad defenses, man. It was too bad. Like Baylor had guys just like OSU was just in the wrong spot. I mean, just two not very good defenses. But Sawyer Robinson and that offense is really good and are going to beat some teams just because they're going to outscore them. Yeah,
I'm calling the game this weekend, right? You and I talked about that. And I'll tell you this one last thing, and this is where like the ego gets in the way. A year ago, we had Sawyer Robertson in this studio, okay? And I asked him, I said, how do you say your name? Like, how do you say it? Like, and he was like, Sawyer. It's not Sawyer, it's Sawyer. And he said, actually, my mom gets upset. And I was like, really? So this is a year ago. So then I'm on a call yesterday with ESPN, and people are like, do you know his mom gets upset when he says it wrong? I'm like, and I'm sitting there like,
I'm familiar.
Yeah, I'm biting my tongue. I'm like, yeah, that's right. But you can't be that guy. You know what I'm saying?
That goes back to, I know we got to get, like when I did high school football, like the most important thing sometimes was to make sure I got those names right on Friday night, because that moms and grandmas will get mad if you don't have those names right. So, because I remember it happened to me once in high school, someone said Ingham. Bob Berry Jr. said that on News Channel 4 on like a highlight, and Ingham with the bucket. My grandmother called the station. True story.
One last thought, because we got Steve Hartman waiting in the wings from Los Angeles, and we got all kinds of stuff to talk to him about. Vern Lundquist. I had a chance to talk to that podcast I do, The Payoff, about sobriety.
Very cool.
So Oksana Bayul came on. Right? Remember her?
I saw the clips. I have not watched.
Yes.
I have not listened to the whole thing.
It's not up yet. Well,
there you go.
Yeah. Whatever, Dan. Like you were mining for it.
Working well.
Yeah. But she said Vern Lundquist during the 1994 Olympic Games approached her and was like, hey, I need to know. She could barely speak English. She was like, how do you say the name of your town? And she said he was like the nicest, sweetest man.
Yeah.
And she was so blown away that a broadcaster cared that much. You know, he walked over to her and got it. And to me, that's like, that is
it's a
broadcasting.
Thing. It's a credibility thing.
Yeah.
If you start messing up a bunch of that, then that's what people notice. They don't hear the words you're saying.
Yeah. Dan, you keep us credible.
There we go.
I appreciate you, brother.
Have a great
We'll see you next week on Thursday.
Thursday.
My bad on the scheduling this
it's
week.
All good, man.